I think this can be called a part two to my introduction video, which I made a few days ago for new subscribers. What I'd like to do in this video is very briefly talk about myself. A lot of my videos I talk about a wide range of subjects, but I thought maybe the time has come to just say a little bit about myself, not so much biographical, not about trivial matters like my hobbies and interests and so on, but more about what I believe in because a very big part of my channel, of course, is discussing my thoughts on things. So, what I want to do here is just give a very, very brief outline of what I believe in, the things I believe in, the things I care about. What I'm not going to do, though, is go into huge details. This is literally going to be outline, single sentences. Um, and the purpose being so that people are in no doubt as to where I'm coming from. Now, it may well be that some of these things I will change my mind on because that happens in life. You do evolve your thinking, you do change your mind on things. But as it stands at this time, January 2018, this is what I believe. I'm not going to explain why, I'm not going to go into huge details because they will be for individual videos. But I'm just going to say how I feel about some important issues. And this is not to provoke anyone, this is not to start arguments. It's just so people know, so that they don't come back and say, "Oh, I'm disappointed in you, Nathan," or whatever. So here we go. My name's Nathan. I am 32 years old and I live in the United Kingdom, more specifically Sunderland in northeast England. I consider myself, in terms of identity, to be Northern Irish, British, European, and yes, a citizen of the world. Um, Thinking of the issues when it comes to gender equality, I consider myself an egalitarian, not a masculist, not a feminist. I'm an egalitarian because I believe that is the most principled position I can be for my stance on that. I'm very critical of modern third wave feminism, but I'm not against the concept of feminism. Therefore, I'm an egalitarian. I consider myself conservative, socially conservative, that is, on crime. I have very strong views on crime. I have no sympathy for thugs who terrorize society. And I believe that part of justice is punishment. I believe that very strongly. And I have a very limited amount of patience for people who make excuses for criminals or suggest that punishment is not morally or practically justified. I believe it is. And I believe very strongly that when someone chooses to commit crime, they have to be held to account. However, on other issues, I would be far more to the left. On certain social welfare issues, for example, I'm very critical of the way the Conservatives treat unemployed people. I would definitely be to the left on some of those issues. Um, for example, I am staunchly against the abomination known as workfare, which Conservatives tend to think motivates people into work. I believe it is degrading and wrong. Um, I do not like political correctness. I'm critical, very critical of identity politics because I believe it causes a lot more division than it's good for. Um, I am an agnostic. That is, I don't follow organized religion. I don't subscribe to organized religion, but I am not comfortable with atheism either. I fundamentally would say I believe in a higher deity, but I can't put my finger on what that is, how that is defined. My gut feeling is that human conscience must mean something more than the natural process of life. There must be a greater meaning. I do believe that strongly. I am staunchly critical of totalitarianism, specifically communism. I believe communism was responsible for more misery than any ideology of the 20th century. Um, but I oppose all totalitarianism fascism, communism, absolute monarchy. Um, I believe that religious extremism is a fact. I don't believe that you can separate religious extremism from religion. So I don't respect the viewpoint of, for example, Islamism has nothing to do with Islam. I think that's wrong. I think it is connected. Um, and I staunchly believe that truth must prevail before sensitivities. Human rights, basic human rights, must come before sensitivities. I'm very wary, very cautious about ultranationalism. Anywhere in the world, whether it be in this country, whether it be in Russia, whether it be in the United States, whether it be in China, I think it can potentially be very dangerous and it makes me very uncomfortable. However, I differentiate that with patriotism. I believe healthy patriotism is no bad thing. I believe that healthy patriotism is a sense of being grounded, a sense of familiarity that can be totally fine. And I do feel patriotic sentiments. I love the United Kingdom. And going on from that, I staunchly oppose Scottish independence. I believe in one United Kingdom. I believe that Scottish independence would be a step backwards. And I will staunchly defend the United Kingdom. I believe in it 150%. Um, Now, perhaps a little bit more about my interests, just to tie in with this. I'm fascinated by history. I'm fascinated by certain aspects of culture. My mind is constantly probing different things every day. I'm researching. I'm trying to find out new ideas. I'm fascinated by philosophy, by thinking, by art, by culture. Um, and I find the world a fascinating place. It can be a deeply, deeply frustrating place. It can be a very cruel place, but it's also a fascinating place. And to close on an optimistic note, whilst there is a lot of cruelty in this world, whilst other human beings can drive us crazy, there is a lot of good nature in humanity. There is a lot of decency out there, and sometimes the world is not actually as bleak as we think it is. So I'll leave it there. That's who I am. I'm sure there's other things I can add to this, but I'll leave it there for now. My name is Nathan Hazlett, and that's broadly speaking what I believe in. Thank you for watching.